When I fall in love, it will be forever, or I'll never fall in love.
All right, hi everybody. David Fogel back with you, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, back with another Symphonina Foundation podcast, and I'm joined today by Gino Amato. And Gino, I have to thank you for being patient with me today. I was a little late to get on, and I apologize for that. And I want to congratulate you for winning a gold medal in the Global Music Awards for your Latin Crossroads 2 jazz vocal album. I would be falsely, what do they say, false humility. I'm right there next to you. I have to say I was thrilled to be right there next to you as a gold medal winner for the composer category for the first 5 symphoninas this year. And when I saw that, I saw you right next to I got to contact Gino and congratulate him. So congratulations.
Of course, thank you so much. And it was very well deserved, that award for yourself. So
thank you so much.
Yeah.
But
and I want to thank you for even asking me to be here. So I appreciate that.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I've enjoyed your jazz piano and other things that you've done.
Thank you.
And I was looking forward to whatever you were doing for 2026, and then I started to see, what's this? You're recording with the New York Philharmonic, perhaps, with Dudamel conducting, perhaps? So I'm like, I have to find out more about this. We all have to find out more about this. So tell us all about it.
Well, a long amount of time to get this done. First of all, it was a very surreal experience working with him. Gustavo Dudamel is got to be one of the friendliest, most down-to-earth people you maybe ever want to meet. So
Wonderful.
Friendly, positive, approachable, and you speak to him for a while and you feel you've known him for 20 years. He's just so engaging and friendly. He could be on this Zoom with us and you'd be like, in a second, you'd be at home with him. He's very friendly, very nice person.
Mm-hmm.
It started, Oscar Hernández and I have been friends for, worked together, and it also been personal friends for maybe 25 plus years. Okay, I've worked with him. I got introduced to him. I'm trying to get my time order in order. I was working in a studio. I was an arranger and a staff writer in a studio in New York. I had these arrangements, some of which were on Latin Crossroads 1. I had written these, okay, and I said, I brought them to the studio, to the guys at the studio, which were Bob Mann, actually, and Alan Schwartzberg. I don't know if you know them. Bob Mann is, oh my gosh, he was James Taylor's guitar player for many years, and Alan Schwartzberg was like the first call drummer in Manhattan for many years. Anyway, they had a studio called Deep Diner, and that's where I worked. I brought them to them, and they said, "Yeah, this stuff looks great, but it's certainly more on the Latin end. Why don't we put you in touch with Oscar Hernández?" And I said, "Yeah, he's kind of the man. Yeah, that's great, absolutely." So they did. I went over. We hit it off. Okay, long story short. Now I work with him. He co-produces the first Latin Crossroads, also the second one. One day, about a year ago, maybe 8 months to a year ago, he calls me. He said, "Are you sitting down?" And I said, "Yes, so, yeah, I am." As a matter of fact, he says, "Well, you need to sit down.
You might need to lie down." Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a call from the New York Philharmonic, and they want to know if Spanish Harlem would like to be a part of an evening's entertainment in New York. And I said, "Yeah." I said, "How great is that?" Now, I didn't even know what he wanted to do with that. Now, Spanish Harlem Orchestra, I don't know if you know them, they're a 13-piece, they're on the cutting edge of salsa. They're a big name within that world, okay? And so is he himself. I mean, he's worked with Paul Simon, Gloria Estefan, the best of the best. Anyway, he says, "Well, I'm going to ask you to do all those orchestrations for the orchestra." And I went, what? He
Mm.
goes, yeah, I would really like you to do it. Are you interested? I said, well, let me check my schedule. Yes, I'm interested. Yes, I am. He said it's not a done deal at that time. He said it's not a done deal. They're going to talk about it, and there's quite a process to get that done. I don't know if I'm sure you're aware. There's quite a process. The board has to approve and so forth. Okay, I just kind of put it in my vortex, that I really want this to happen. He said, well, just sit tight for a while and we'll see, because I don't know if it's going to happen either. A couple of months later, months go by. I don't even think about it. And he calls and he said, well, you need to sit down again because the board met and they approved it. We are going to, perform and I'm going to ask you to do it. So I said, OMG, how
Yeah.
wonderful is that? So, of course,
How
went
much time
about
did you have
choosing.
to do that once you said that you were going to do it?
Actually, I had a lot of time
Okay. All right. Okay.
because it was way in advance. It was months in advance. I probably completed them before the new year at the end of 2025.
Okay.
Okay. And then I did one after that because Ruben Blades was going to be a part of it, and Ruben Blades was going to be a part of one show, not every show, but he wanted to do a specific song. It was so nice that they asked me to do that one too. So
Yeah.
I did
Nice.
that one,
There you go.
and which was really, really cool. When it culminated, last week and came to fruition, it was very exciting. It was a wonderful thing. And to hear your music performed at that level by such a wonderful orchestra and then led by Dudamel it's kind of for me at least, a lifetime milestone for me. So
Absolutely. I guess another question would be, how did the event get to connect with Dudamel to lead it?
well, because Gustavo Dudamel is permanently moving from the LA Philharmonic to the New York
Well, there we go.
Philharmonic.
I had some news broken to me, but it's not, no, I'm sure it's not news that's breaking widely. We don't break news on the Symphonina Foundation podcast, but now you've educated me. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, and matter of fact, the LA crowd,
Hmm.
symphonic crowd, is not really happy about that,
I can
which
imagine. Yeah.
understandably so. But that's kind of that's something that's been in the works for a while. That's not a new thing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, Dudamel coming to New York, but he's now permanently, I believe, in New York. That doesn't mean he doesn't go to back to LA. Doesn't mean he go to London and so forth. Of course, the conductors do guest appearances
Exactly.
all over. So he does a number of performances in New York with the New York Phil, but I believe he's able to go wherever, I guess, he's called
Yeah.
to do. But
Yeah.
he will do quite a number. So you would have to say, in quotes, he's permanently in New York now. He's not a part of the LA Philharmonic. He's
Very,
part of the
very
New York
good, and
Philharmonic.
good to know. I'll have to figure out what's going at the L.A. Phil then, and see what
I don't know who would be replacing him.
Yeah.
I know this though, at I don't know if you even watched the Grammys.
Hmm.
Uh, but I believe there was someone, and I forget who it was, and it was receiving a classical award, a symphonic award of some sort.
Okay.
And he had come up and he said it out in public. He says, "Yeah, thank you for the award." And I do have to say, what in the world is going on with Dudamel leaving LA? We can't let this happen. We have to stop this. This can't happen. And
I
everybody
missed that
started
one.
laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he, of course, did come to New York. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, good for New York, and we'll see what happens in Los Angeles. As you're
yeah.
working with Dudamel, what was the relationship that you had? You're doing the arrangements for all the pieces, and are you there when they're doing the performances and the rehearsals and everything else too? How
Right.
involved are you with everything, and what input does somebody like that look to you for as they're doing their job?
Well, I had to submit. I didn't have, well, previous in the months leading up, I didn't have a personal contact with him. He's
Hmm.
kind of has a buffer zone kind of around
Yeah,
him.
makes sense.
That, yeah, that you go through.
Hmm.
So I submitted them through Oscar Hernandez, and he submitted them to Gustavo. In other words, when I did the first few, he wanted to see because he doesn't know me. I'm not a normal, one of the normal people who work with the New York Phil.
Hmm.
Hopefully, I will be,
Yeah, that'd
but
be great.
in up to then I was not. So he wanted to see the orchestrations and everything, and so I had to submit them, and he liked them. He thought they were great, no problem. That he kind of, I guess, okayed me to do others, beyond that. And somebody pointed out to me the other day, which I didn't even realize, that they said, well, when you were at the rehearsals and everything, did he change anything? I
Hmm.
said, no,
Yeah.
he didn't change anything. So
There-
did he change a phrase, a note that this was too thick here, this was too thin, or whatever? I said, no, he didn't. Said, well, then you're good. You're good. So I didn't honestly, I didn't even think of it. I didn't even realize that. But he didn't. He never changed anything. He didn't ask me to do anything. As a matter of fact, he came after one of the breaks. He spoke to me and said it was very complimentary. He said, your string writing is so wonderful, but I'm not hearing the inner voices. I'm not hearing the violas and the cellos. He said, I'm not hearing them. You wrote such wonderful parts here. They need to be mic'd more. So do you mind? I'm going to put mics on each section. I'm going to add more mics to each section. So it's got to sound like you wrote it. I kind of stood there and I went, yeah, well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That's very nice. And he was absolutely correct. I couldn't hear the inner voices. That's one of my things, just for me. I like to write interesting inner voices, not just filler. You know what I mean? Not just
Yeah.
filler notes, but I really pay attention to the inner voices and try to, make them make sense. He realized that, which was very nice of him. And he said he was going to, take care of that. He said, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of that for you. I'm saying, you're taking care of that for me. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Anyway, he's so nice. Like if you were to work with him, you'd be like friends like that. You're just very easy to work with,
I hope to someday. We'll see how life presents itself as
Ah,
we go through the unknown here. I wanted to ask you a question in terms of the performance because I wasn't clear about this from what you posted. Did you have a live performance to an orchestra? I mean, to an audience. I'm sorry, and also
yeah.
was it recorded for the rest of us to be able to enjoy?
Well, that's actually a great question. There were two rehearsals beforehand. The first show was on Wednesday night, so
Okay.
the public performances were Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. Because those performances sold out, they added another one,
Oh,
excuse me, at the United Palace, which was kind of way up north on Broadway, if you know New York at all,
okay.
which is a gorgeous, beautiful performance hall. The two rehearsals, the one on Monday, I was not involved with because half the program was going to be just the orchestra doing Villalobos and Ginastera and a lot of Spanish composers. Okay. So
Hmm.
he did a rehearsal with just the orchestral on Monday, and then he brought in the Spanish Harlem and myself on Tuesday. So we had a rehearsal with nobody there, and then the others were the public performance on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah. And how about a recording that we can all enjoy later?
Well,
Anyone
the
coming?
recording, yes, I actually asked about that, and it turns out that they did record it,
Hmm.
but the way they recorded it, they just did it for like to put it in the vault, like
Okay. For archives.
for archives,
Yep.
to do it for archives. Now, whether they can release
Hmm.
something based on that recording, I don't know. It has to be a board recording. There's no way they just have one live mic out there and just recorded it.
Right.
It has to be a board recording. So if it is a board, from the mixing board recording, then I guess you can mix it and you're able to put out a public recording.
Sure.
Now he already won, if I'm not mistaken, this maybe this past year and in the recent years, several Grammys for his live recordings, Dudamel,
Hmm.
with the LA Phil.
That's correct.
So maybe they will do it. I had asked Oscar about that, and he said that they did recorded it. They did record it, but he doesn't know if they're going to put it out. So
All right. Well, fingers crossed on that.
right now I'm in the dark. Yeah, that would be a big giant. thrilled also, for him to
You have
put that out.
have to
So
keep us
as of now, I don't know yet.
keep us posted. What do you have
I,
planned for the rest of this year? Now that you've peaked and it's May, what do you have for the rest of the year?
You know, I, that is a great question. I don't, I was just talking about that with my wife the other day. She goes, where do we go from here?
Exactly.
I said,
You go to
you already
Disneyland or something. You won. That
you
was it.
already did the New
Yeah.
York Phil. I
Yeah.
mean, what's next? The London Phil, maybe? I don't know. What I have now, eventually, Latin Crossroads 3, I can say will happen. It won't happen for this cutoff point for the Grammy cutoff, which is what, the end of August, I believe,
Yeah, probably the 28th or something around that
the
time.
28th, 29th, right? So it won't happen before then. I wish it would be, but it's not. Maybe I might be recording it in the fall, maybe fall, quote, spring of 27. And I think it will be ready for
Okay.
following season. So it is. I've written a number of them already, and to me, they sound great, and I'm very excited about it. But as far as publicly to record them, coming up, I'm keeping my, fingers crossed that will happen come the end of the year, maybe more likely the spring of 27.
Well, as you know, many of us who enjoy symphonic music also enjoy jazz music, and I've enjoyed what I've heard from you over the years, and
Oh,
you
thank you.
keep setting the bar higher and higher. At some point, it becomes difficult to get over that bar that you've set for yourself, but
Yeah.
I suspect you will. So we'll be
Well, thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I like writing for symphony, as you know, and it just for my personal project, it's sometimes financially hard to get over that hurdle right there because if money was no object, right, and you just said, here's your blank check, do what you want, I probably at least half of the project of Latin Crossroads 3 might be symphonic in feel,
Yeah.
in concept, use a lot of strings. For a writer, as you know for yourself, you can be so expressive with such wonderful tools in your hands. You know what I mean? The different sections and how you can express, your feelings. It's like no other, so I would. Latin 3 did have one with strings, Latin 2, that is, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I did Scheherazade. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember
Uh-huh.
listening to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did Scheherazade. And Randy Brecker was on trumpet there, and he
Okay.
did a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, well, as you know, at the Symphonina Foundation, we're all about promoting the joy of symphonic music to younger audiences around the world. Doesn't have to be classical symphonic. Symphonic music gets an opportunity to support many different genres, and we appreciate all of them. And we appreciate you, Gino. If people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, they can get in touch with me through the website if they go on latincrossroads.com, www.latincrossroads.com. They can get in touch with me through there.
Okay.
They could also get in touch with me if they go on to my Facebook, which is Gino Amato Music, or they can find Gino Amato. Either one, but there's two of them because Gino Amato Music was originally Latin Crossroads, and then we kind of melded it to just Gino Amato Music because of the different projects I do.
Yeah.
So either one there, they can get in touch with me, and I'm certainly happy to speak with anyone about whatever. Yeah.
We appreciate that. We're going to listen to some more of your great music on the way out. And congratulations on both the gold medal at the Global Music Awards and this great experience that you've had and shared with us. I wish you many more of them. Everyone working with the Symphony Orchestra is wonderful. And
Thank
if
you.
there's anything we can do at the Symphonina Foundation to be of help to you, you just let us know.
That would be great. I've always, I think what you're doing with your Symphonina is just wonderful, and the focus you have to bring this music to another generation, which would not normally listen to symphonic music, I think is a beautiful thing because kids just appreciate good music, right? Of course, they appreciate what's popular of the day, of course, no doubt. But if you present just good music to them, they appreciate it. They do. And, ooh, that sounds good. And they were, some things that they may never have been exposed to before, is new to them, and they appreciate it, and you could bring new listeners and help to bring a new generation of people to this genre of music, not only just stay in their kind of bubble of whatever's coming out on Spotify or whatever's popular, which is nothing wrong with it, but there's also many other genres that sound so great. Yeah.
Indeed, I couldn't have said it better, Gino. So, again, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, David.